Okay, we're live on Google Plus, and I'm here with a number of friends from all around the world. This is pretty exciting. Andrea, would you like to say hello?
Yes, I'm Andrea and I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm next in line. I'm John, and I'm in Venice Beach, California. Hi, Joni.
Hi, I'm Joni. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. Kirsten,
Hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm in Germany.
Christina,
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Michelle,
Hi, I'm Michelle and I'm in Murrieta, California.
Shelley,
I'm Shelley and I'm in Minnesota.
Susan.
Hi, I'm Susan. I'm in Glasgow, in Scotland, in the UK. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Am I the only one who's a little uncomfortable that I'm the only guy in the room?
Nope.
Not really.
I mean, I don't know why I should be uncomfortable about that. But it's not the first time. Okay, so say we're going to hear the voice of Gina. She's going to be our moderator. We're not going to see her, but we're going to hear her. Hi, Gina.
Hello. Andrea, we'll start with you.
Okay. So my question was, what do you like best about collaborating with other musicians, and what do you think makes a great collaboration?
Well, collaborations are so necessary, aren't they? Is anybody, any of the Americans here, is anybody into Nashville?
Yeah.
Nashville
I heard you like that.
it's a great new TV show actually about the music business and about the music business in Nashville, and a big part of it actually is about collaborations and about how people come together and how we find that chemistry, how you know, when you're working with somebody and you're trying to write a song with somebody, you know, how that trust between the two people, how important that is to, you know, it's like any kind of collaboration really. We're there to bring the best out in each other. I think that, you know, the Duran guys, we know each other, we've known each other a long time, and we know that we can achieve certain results when we're collaborating together. But it's also really nice when somebody like Mark Ronson comes into the mix. You know, I think in the creative process, it's always really important. Trust, I think, is the most important thing, and that way that you can relax and you can give your best to the situation. There was a second part to that question, Andrea.
Oh yeah. What I don't know. Maybe kind of already answered. What was collaboration great?
What makes collaborations great, right? Yeah, I think it's just when you feel really comfortable and you want to give of yourself, and you know, and your collaborators bring out the best in you. I think that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay, great. Shall we move on to Joni?
Sure. Hi, John.
Hi.
Again. You talk in your book a lot about social media and how you use that when you're on the road to stay connected with your family, therapy, stuff like that, which is cool. And you know, some people believe that social media gives a false sense of connectedness to other people, whereas other people think it's the best thing ever. So what do you think? Do you think that you can connect in any meaningful way with your fans through social media?
Yeah, I think there's no replacement for a good hug. You know, at the end of the day, there's nothing like pressing flesh, is there, to feel truly connected to somebody. But I mean, that's not always possible. And in this global world that we live in, I mean, this is kind of what we're doing. This is pretty fantastic, I think. It's interesting coming down to Venice, which is where this facility is. And you know, I used to live here 15 years ago. And Patty's actually here with me today, and we started Trust the Process down here, and this was where we started doing fan forums, you know, online fan forums, you know, about 15 years ago, and that was my first experience with the internet, really, and trying to do things like this, and it's taken 15 years, and now we're doing it on camera, as it were, so it's, you know, which is kind of amazing, and it's considerably better than when you're not able to look at the person in the room. I think that is a massive step, actually, the fact that we can now do video chats like this, so we can see each other. It's a little bit more, you know, there's a deeper sense of contact, being able to see each other, than when we're just either well, originally we were just typing texts to each other. I mean, it was just we were in rooms typing, weren't we? And now we could do voice stuff, and now we can do picture stuff, which is kind of exciting. It's been great. The social media has been great for the band, I think. And like I say in the book, I think the energy around the band has really improved, in the last few years, really since All You Need Is Now came out, and since we got onto the internet in that social media way. And I think that all of you guys, kind of like, don't you feel, I mean, is anybody here that feels like they've reconnected with a number of friends,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
through social media,
yeah.
that has kind of like also connected you back to the band again in a way that you weren't, hadn't been for a while? I mean, definitely, right? I mean, Susan, you're nodding. Susan, do you think
Yes,
so?
definitely have. I feel very connected now with the band. I think it's more exciting now than ever before because you do have that connection with your band after 30 years. This connection is even stronger than ever.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that people keep asking is like, well, what do you think it would have been like if you'd had like all the social media in the early '80s? And I say, well, it would have been awful because it would have been too much. I feel that what we have going on right now is really kind of interesting. It's not, you could, it's handleable. Michelle, you were nodding too.
Yes.
You feel the same way?
Yes, I just made a whole group of wonderful friends that we went to the Costa Mesa concert with, and then we got in a car, complete strangers pretty much, and drove to Arizona to see you in Tucson. And I don't know if I would have done that 15 years ago, because that's kind of crazy, but it was so much fun.
Yeah. It's amazing to be, like, let's say over 30 and still be able to make new friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gina?
Okay, great. Thank you, Joni. Should we go to Kirsten?
Yeah. Hi, John.
Hi.
My question is, though you've been living in the US for so many years next to the UK, is there an English trait you could never get rid of and don't even want to? And I hope you don't say your British accent.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't know if there is. Nationalism's interesting, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you have a certain kind of pride or identification about where you're from, but I don't like to get too hung up on it. I've been studying for my American civics test because I'm going to become a U.S. citizen. It's kind of, but I don't have to give up my UK citizenship. That you can now have a dual citizenship, and so and I've been here long enough now, and I'm really sort of interested in the way this country works, and it's forcing me to study up on that. But I don't know what I would. I mean, England is just such a beautiful country, and and I think that the way that England appreciates music and the way that Britain generates music, I still think it's the most fertile country in the world, really, for Western music. I think still. So I still look to sources in the UK if I want to find out what the coolest new music is. I tend not to look for that here, or I tend to look for the UK. I find that music filters through more quickly there. The cream rises to the top more quickly in the UK, maybe because it's smaller, almost certainly because it's smaller. So yeah, I would keep those connections alive for sure.
Okay, thank you, Kirsten. How about Christina now?
Hi, John.
Hi, Toronto.
I feel like I just saw you last week at the Toronto book signing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Before I ask my question, I just wanted to let you know that my friend Christine and I had a big hand in getting you to Toronto, and I just wanted you to know that because I couldn't find my words that night, so I'm telling you now. And it was a big success in Toronto. They did not expect that.
Yeah, no, it was, and it was touch and go. I got in on the Sunday evening about 10:30. And funny, when I hate to admit this, but when I get to Toronto, I almost forget that I've got to go through passport control. That you get so used to traveling across the US, and then you fly up to Toronto. And I got to the hotel about 10:30, and one of the things I tend to do is that I leave till the last minute, like looking at the plans for the next day. And I thought, well, I'll just look at the press plan for the next day when I get to the hotel, and expecting a sort of an 11 a.m. pickup, and I opened up the package, and it was 7 a.m.
You had a busy day
depart
in
the hotel
Toronto.
for that morning TV, and I freaked out completely. I said, "There's no way I can do this."
Okay, so my question to you is, I lost my mother about 7 years ago. She was a huge fan of Duran Duran as well. And after she passed away, I turned to therapy to deal with my bereavement. I was guided to deal with my bereavement in a way where my therapist told me to learn to get rid of the physical relationship and learn to focus on a more spiritual relationship with her. And my question to you is, how did you deal with the death of both of your parents, being an only child, and is there anything that was left unsaid that you wish you had told them?
Beginning with your last point, I don't think so. I'm fortunate that that when both my parents died, I feel we had a moment. I had a moment with each of them where, I was able to declare my love for them and get it back from them. And I have friends who don't speak to their parents, that are still engaged in some kind of drama or conflict. I don't know whether there's anybody here that has that kind of conflict going on, but I always say, resolve it, because
Such a waste of time.
Well, you never know when it's going to. Obviously, listen. Some people have issues of the like that I never had, but for me, it was good that when they went, all the debts were paid, so to speak, and the relationship was clean. I think that I think it's a living. Life can be life after the death of your parents can be kind of like a living memorial to them. For me, this book and the success of this book has been a big part of it has been a memorial to my parents. I feel that I'm honoring them, and and that wanting to do that was part of the motivation for me doing the book. And I feel that every copy of the book that sells, every list that I see the book in, I feel that's a little part of my parents' memory living on, because they are in the book, their spirit is in the book.
So do you feel that time heals? Or for me, I don't know, time seems to just pass, it doesn't seem to heal.
Yeah, well, I think maybe healing is the wrong word, because I don't think, I think having them alive, the memory and alive inside you is part of what keeps you going and keeps you growing. I don't think we want to close the book on them. Those of us that were close to I've got a friend, actually, she's Mexican, and we were talking about the Day of the Dead last week, and how in Mexico, so many families, they go to the cemeteries and they for like 24 hours, and they go and like camp out, at the cemeteries.
They celebrate,
yeah. Yeah, and they have meals, they set meals, and they'll set a place for like the dead father or the relative, and they'll serve their favorite food. I thought that was so amazing. So if anything, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm very kind of in the fast lane, and it's all about now, next, and that causes me to forget quite easily.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if that's a good thing. For me, doing the book was slowing down that forgetting.
Okay. Thank you. Let's
Thanks.
move on to Michelle.
Hi. I came to the LA signing, and I was a little too nervous to ask you a question when I was standing directly in front of you, but now I get to do it again. Well, my husband wants me to ask a Chelsea football question, but I'm going to ask something else. I was raised Catholic as well, and I respect my parents' devotion to their religion tremendously. And I really enjoyed your stories about going to church with your mother, walking to church with her. That was so sweet, and your memories are so vivid. And I was just curious, what is your spiritual outlet currently, if any?
That's a really difficult question to answer. But I definitely, I have a sense of God today, but it's nothing. It's probably not like anybody else's. I got reintroduced to the concept of God in the 12-step program that I work. I was Catholic. I was after 25 years of Catholicism, I was convinced there was no God. I was absolutely convinced of it. That
happens.
I never bought into it, because I never bought into, I don't know, but I've come around to the idea of, faith. It's a tricky one. It's very personal. It's not, everybody has to find their own path.
I agree.
But I don't like being told what to believe by anybody. I believe everybody should have their own, should be free to have their own concept of God, and but it's definitely it's a work in progress, I would say. But it's kind of exciting. I kind of like it, and the more I think about it and acknowledge it and accept that I want a higher power, the more relaxed I feel, actually, and then the more energy I've got, because I'm not burning up all my energy like worrying, and it's like it's quite good for that sense of acceptance, because there are some things that are worth worrying about, but most of the things I worry about actually aren't worth worrying about. So if I have a strong sense of faith, then that takes care of a lot of the unnecessary concerns.
Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Now, Shelley.
I had another kind of spiritual question, but you kind of answered that already. So also, I had another question about, in the book, you said that one of the things when you were using is that it kind of ruined your relationship with Nick. I was just wondering how you guys reconnected and how you mended that relationship once you were sober.
Well, Nick's always been really supportive of sobriety. He's always been way behind me on that. I think when I came back to the band after having left the band for a few years, it was we had to do a bit of therapy. But what we did that Only After Dark project, where we kind of curated that CD, and we kind of like, it was like a common ground that we could work on. It was like a little creative therapeutic project. It's a work in progress. I mean, Nick's the nearest thing I have to a brother. I don't have any siblings, neither does he. I don't know who has a sibling. I mean, sibling relationships are really interesting, aren't they?
They're tough, though, too.
Yeah. And I never knew what that was until, I feel it now, though. I feel it, and I think Simon, Nick, Roger, we would all agree that, like, we all love each other deeply, but we don't mind if we don't speak to each other for 6 months. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's how you all feel about siblings.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe that's because it's like they're there. Once you accept them, it's like that you accept that they're there forever. They're not going anywhere. So you don't have to worry about the relationship. But I mean, it's good. It's a good. I mean, we've been through some. I mean, there's nothing like crisis that'll bring people together. I mean, talking about my parents' death. I mean, I remember the day Nick's father passed away. We were in New York. We were playing in Central Park, and on the Red Carpet Massacre tour, and it was completely out of the blue. I mean, it was so shocking when his father passed away, because it was, it was the night that Mark Ronson was coming to see us play, that this producer, this guy was going to come and meet us and see whether he wanted to work with us, and we were all excited about it, and literally like two hours before the show, Nick got the call. And there's nothing like that, an experience like that will bring you together, right? So, that's the upside to crisis, I think.
Okay.
Hi, Susan.
So hi, John. Hi. I was just going to make a quick comment before my question. Was just say I'm actually got dual nationality, and when you said that you're going for your dual nationality, I'm actually was born in the USA.
And how does it work for you? Does it work for you?
Well, it's fine. My parents are both British, so I was entitled to it. But I find I'm not sure which I consider myself to be, either British or American now. But I've been here for a long time.
Yeah. So you were born in America?
Yes, I was born there, and then we sort of, my parents being British, we moved back and forth to the States, and then back to England, and then I'm sort of ended up in Glasgow.
You're not a Gemini by any chance, are you?
No, no, I'm Sagittarius.
I mean, I kind of figure being a Gemini, I'm going to be just fine. You know, finally, like each of my personalities gets its own passport.
I'm married to a Gemini.
Yeah.
Not
Well, the
easy.
question I was going to ask John, sort of, you fulfilled one of my sort of wishes at the book signing. Here's the book here, and I'm sure you've fulfilled a lot of other Duran Duran fans' wishes, and it would be on their list of things they want to do. Do you have anything on your bucket list that you would like to do? I'm sure you've accomplished a lot in your life, but are there still things that you would like to do?
What's so funny?
I'm just thinking about your tap dancing comment.
Well, that was on. Well, first of all, does anybody know where that term bucket list comes from?
You're going to kick the bucket.
Oh, okay.
Before you kick the bucket.
Well, I did get asked this question in Toronto, and there was two kind of frivolous things that I'd thought about recently. And one was I went back to my wife and said, I'm thinking of having taking tap dancing classes. And I think, I forget exactly what she said, but it basically came to either stay in the marriage or take the tap dancing class. So that's probably not going to happen. And then I'd been thinking recently I'd quite like to have like take boxing lessons. Because, like, you know, you're watching TV and movies all the time. There's all the people like smacking the shit out of each other, you know, and it looks kind of cool in a way. You know, I'd like to really wallop somebody, you know, and have somebody really wallop me. But anyway, I'm talking to my therapist about that. But,
That's a good idea.
but those are the frivolous ones. I think that. You know, life presents all sorts of continues to present like opportunities, doesn't it, for like things that we can do. I mean, I feel very lucky that like it's still the playing field's still open, you know, and you know, I don't feel in any way like tied down, or that the doors are closing, you know, that like, you know, that if anything, it's going the other way. It's like, you know, you're at a point in life now where it's like, what are you fucking waiting for? You know, what do you want to do? Why, what, you know, I mean, so I kind of think like, you know, whatever, whenever.
Thank you so much, ladies. Before we wrap up, John, is there anything you just want to say about the book? You know, no.
Book number 2.
I feel like
the process, what it's meant to you, how your fans have been reacting, and
yeah, I mean, it's been a really positive experience for me, and you know, and I'm really grateful that you all, and you're like a really great cross section right now of supporters for the book. I think that, you know, it's right out. You know, I don't know. I just feel really validated by your support of the book, and I wasn't entirely convinced that it was the right thing to do. I particularly with my bandmates, you know, but like I just. You know, I guess it was on my bucket list.
Yes.
You know, and it was just driving at me, and it was like, this is something you want to do. You want to do. So you're gonna let yourself be compromised by, you know, what you think your friends might think. And I think at the end of the day, you know, it was. I spoke very well of my friends in the band. You know, I don't think I really had anything to worry about. I mean, I made a point of not dissing anybody or getting into any dirt.
You're very classy.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been a great experience, and you know, and it's I don't know, it's causing me to ask more questions about life, and it's causing me to look a little deeper at things. Actually, I think it's been a good, you know, it's been good, and I'm just working on it. You know, every day I say to myself, you know, when I see Neil Young at #1 and Pete Townsend at #5, I keep saying, yeah, but it's okay, you know, because I can. But that's another story. You know, it's been really exciting, and I couldn't be happier with the reception that it's got.
Okay, this has been so fun.
Yeah.
The audio version is brilliant.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Voices in there, hysterical.
Oh yeah. Good.
Very-
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do actually. It took me 4 days.
Yeah.
And the first day, after about 2 hours, I couldn't speak. You know, because I thought I just needed to drink lots of coffee. And apparently that's not the case. Apparently that's not the case with, you know, when you're using your voice. You need a lot of throat coat and honey. And the second day I had to really take it seriously.
And the iBook is fantastic. If Patty's there, she has to know that. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well done, Patty. Yay!
Well done, Patty. Here,
Yes,
Patty.
Patty.
Yeah.
Take a bow.
Hi, Patty.
Okay, we have to say goodbye.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. It was great to see you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.